Hi there, Alex Kidman from Fat Duck Tech, taking a look today at the Magellan Echo Fit smartwatch. Now, the Echo Fit has some interesting headline features, not the least of which is that for a smartwatch it's got an exceptionally long battery life. Magellan claim that off a single CR2032 battery you'll get 6 months of use. Most smartwatches, of course, you have to recharge overnight, so that's a pretty exceptional figure, although the way, or at least part of the way, that the Echo Fit manages this is kind of cheating. What it actually does is it turns the display screen off when you're not looking at it. And I'm talking completely off. This isn't an e-ink solution where you can have it off and use no power. It's an LCD, so it still needs to use some power to display stuff. It saves itself that power by not being on all the time. So what is it that the Echo Fit does? Well, it works as a step and sleep tracker the same way that an app or a Fitbit band would, as well as synchronizing to your smartphone for other running and fitness-centric activities. Now, I referred to the Echo Fit as a smartwatch, but I'm almost inclined to drop that particular moniker for this particular device because in a lot of ways it's much more like a feature watch, which is to say that for a smartwatch, this isn't a terribly smart device. An awful lot of what it does through the app on your smartphone. It does because it grabs information from your smartphone. So you compare it to a number of existing fitness apps like Runkeeper, for example, the same way you can a lot of other fitness bands, but an awful lot of that intelligence lies in that application, not in the watch itself. Unlike a lot of other smartwatches, you can't get straight email or Twitter or Facebook notifications on it, or at least not yet. That may come with some future firmware updates, but right now it doesn't do that kind of thing. That's a little bit less smart. Then there's the app itself, and look, I've got to say, there's an awful lot of fitness tracking apps out there, and Magellan sadly is one of the worst I've hit. Why is it one of the worst? Well, partially because so much of what you can do, again, relies on interfacing with the app, not with the watch. If you want to change the style of face, not that you've got a lot of choices with this particular watch, you've got to do it from the app. Want to change the time? You've got to do that from the app. Want to change your step counts or how much sleep you plan on getting? You've got to do that. Well, I think you get the idea by now. Now, this kind of limitation is a bit of a problem, and it's a bit of a problem that's disappointing because in many other ways this is a perfectly functional device. Its step tracking is moderate, which is to say it's no better or worse than a lot of the other devices that I've tested. I've never hit a step tracker that gets it 100% right, but this sits roughly in the middle. It certainly doesn't undercount steps or overcount steps by any wild, exaggerated level, so you'll get a decent ongoing count, and I still maintain that the real power in these devices is actually in being able to see an ongoing pattern of movement, not just I got this many steps on this kind of day. The UI on the Echo Fit is really pretty simple, and again, that's because it just offloads it all to external devices. The sounds are simple, the clock display is simple, everything is kept deliberately simple. The band is cheap and it's plastic, and I've got to say, if you get out and about and you sweat in this thing, I have found it has a tendency to cut into my wrist a bit. It's not terribly pleasant, and that's a big problem. And it's a problem that's exacerbated if you're using it for sleep tracking, because you're wearing quite a big thing to bed when you do, and you really do notice it. There have been plenty of times when I've just kind of gone, oh, no, I'm actually not going to get this to track my sleep because it's uncomfortable enough that I don't want to sleep wearing it. That's a big problem. The other big problem with the Echo Fit is the asking price. It runs for about $149 Australian, which isn't terrible for a watch with these kind of capabilities, but it's not exceptional either. You've really only got to push a little bit higher up in your spending to get a fully fledged smartwatch, a Pebble or an entry-level Android Wear kind of device. And that'll do all the step tracking and sleep tracking you want it to, along with a host of other applications. Yes, you don't quite get the same kind of battery length, but that's about it. Equally speaking though, and considering how much competition there is in this space, you can spend just a bit less and get a straight sleep or activity tracker, and then just pair that with your smartphone anyway. Given how much of its intelligence it offloads to other devices, the Echo Fit is a bit of a hard sell. It doesn't quite know what it wants to be, and its pricing is not quite as competitive as I'd like to see, given the limitations of its feature set. If you can score an Echo Fit for a reasonable kind of discount, and I have seen them online cheaper than that $149, then it might be worth perusing. But if you're after a smartwatch, I'd say buy an actual smartwatch. If you're after a fitness tracker, I'd say buy an absolute dedicated fitness tracker. As always, if you've enjoyed this review, please hit subscribe and leave me your feedback below.